You're watching Training Camp with Adam Marburger, exclusively on CBT News.
Welcome to another episode of Training Camp exclusively on CBT News. I'm your host, Adam Marburger. I'm a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I'm a black belt in automotive. This show's designed to help automotive professionals grow personally and professionally to ultimately obtain their black belt as well. Today's show's gonna be different. Today's show is gonna be very special. I've got with me today my lifelong mentor, the guy that was over my shoulder my entire F&I career, the guy that pulled me out of retail, that talked me into being an F&I provider, the guy that's always been there. Let's welcome Johnny Garlich in the house, brother. How are you?
Good to see you, Adam.
Good to see you. So I just want to get right to it, okay? Because, you know, you started off as a car dealer. I mean, you know,
Yep.
you start off retailing in Kansas City.
Right.
And then you got into being an F&I provider. I mean, what the heck were you thinking, first of all? Let's talk through this.
Well, they told me it was mailbox money. They said I could sign up all my buddies, and that every month I would get these checks. So I signed up, like in a weekend, I signed up like 7 different accounts, right? And then a month later, I said, well, you know, where's the money? You know, I went out to the mailbox. There was nothing there, right? And they go, oh, nobody sold anything. I go, what? I go, yeah, nobody sold a thing. So I go, these are my buddies. What the hell? Go back to call on the dealers, and they hadn't sold a thing. So another month went by. I thought, well, they'll sell something the next month. Next month, 0. So I was batting 1,000. And so I called my brother, who was an F&I manager at one of the dealerships. I go, Jeff, it's me, okay? You're not selling my stuff? And he goes, oh, yeah, I got to get it out of the drawer. So then I realized I probably got to call on these guys a little bit and actually do a little bit of work. So it wasn't quite mailbox money. Yep. It was actually real work. And then, you know, one thing led to another. We became a pretty successful agency and, you know, around the country, and started doing some innovation. You know, started to change things around a little bit.
We'll talk about innovation, but I'll tell you, the one thing, I didn't even know how to spell reinsurance before I worked for you, and let alone talk about it. So
okay, could you spell it right now? Because I'm not real sure.
So you used a word that I love, innovation. And you've kind of always been a forward thinker. You were doing digital retailing before that word was ever used.
We did digital retailing with video conference solutions before you could even do video conference.
Yeah, break that down. So I would like to, because this is really cool. So where did the idea come from? Like, where did you, what sparked you to really do this years and years ago?
I think that I don't know, I think I was smoking weed or something. I wasn't sure. But I ended up thinking, like, what if I could provide the dealer an F&I manager on demand? So then we created a company called Deliveries on Demand, and the concept was we would build video conference solutions inside of a dealership. This is before Zoom and all that stuff. And when they needed an F&I guy, we'd have a crew of F&I guys that would do the delivery right then for them on the spot. Yeah. And in those days, it was very difficult because we didn't have all the bandwidth we have today. So we had to take 3 T1 lines and weld them together, basically get enough throughput to actually do a video conference. And then back in those days, you know, there was a lot of printing on impact printers. And I know you did it. Yeah. You know, you'd have to feed that finance contract through 6 or 7 times to get it to print right. We had the customer load it because we weren't in the office. We were via video conference. So we'd have the customer load the paperwork, and then we'd print it remotely. It was crazy.
Yeah. I want to talk about F&I managers for a minute, because I'm in recovery. I'm a recovering F&I manager.
Right.
You know, a lot of things have changed since you hired me back in 2001 to take an F&I role. In today's market, like, what do you look for in an F&I manager in 2025? When you're looking to hire somebody to come into one of your stores, what characteristics, who are you looking to hire?
So, I mean, I don't know that they necessarily have to be the strongest salesperson in the world, right? But they do have to be very customer focused, and they have to be able to take the heat, because there's a lot of heat in F&I. Yeah. And at the same time, they have to be able to work long hours. You know, that's going to be a requirement in pretty much every store. And then they have to have a personality where they can get along with a lot of people. If they have good personality and they have decent communication skills, then we can train them on what the techniques are and stuff like that. And truthfully, I think they got to be honest as hell too.
Yeah. Well, you know, as this honesty, this great segue here, because as customers get savvier and all the information's right in front of us, what do F&I managers need to do to combat that to be profitable today?
So I think that the difference is for a long time we were able to establish decent profits without really terrific sales techniques, right? And people were payment oriented, so you would show them multiple payments, they would pick one, and a lot of times you'd make a bunch of money just doing that. Yeah. The other thing is that people also, I think, we're not completely familiar with how the whole F&I process worked. When I first started, nobody could figure out what a loan payment was, right? Yeah. Today, there's a calculator on every website in the world. So we have to be more forthright with the customers. I think the concept of packing payments, truthfully, is something that's going to go away. It's still out in the industry, truthfully. But over time, we're going to have to get more and more forthright with the customer.
Yeah. Didn't you invent the FedEx clothes? Was that yours originally?
No, I stole it, which is what you did with most of my clothes.
So hey, I'm a hybrid.
We have a different version of it now.
I'm a hybrid of you.
We have the AI FedEx clothes.
Yeah. So I'm going to throw a random weird question your way.
Uh-oh.
If you were to write an F&I Bible, just a brand new, so the old F&I is gone, the new F&I, you created new F&I, what is the first chapter?
Well, that'd be like Genesis. So let's see. God created the world in 6 days, and He rested on the seventh day, right? If you were going into F&I, I'd tell you, you're not God, so don't rest on that seventh day.
Isn't that true? Yeah. I mean, so if you're hiring, be prepared to work 80 hours.
Oh, yeah.
No. It's the F&I space is, in my opinion, I think if you can master F&I, you can do anything in the world. I mean, you're running so many different departments.
Well, if you can master F&I, you can probably do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
You could do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And actually, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu helps you in F&I.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what's new with Hart Financial. What's new? What's on the horizon? What's going on in the agency?
So, I mean, I've been doing this for 31 years, right? Yeah. And in the F&I space. And I've always been trying to innovate. Years ago when we built Deliveries on Demand, I had to teach myself how to write code, right? I mean, I'd never written any code. I was a history major at Stanford, so I didn't know squat. And I ended up going out and teaching myself how to code so I could put together a really cool process, right? I think we're on the cusp of some really cool presentation stuff. I think in the next 6 months, we'll have F&I managers working with virtual AI assistants to help the customer see a much clearer picture of how we can design their ownership experience. Because that's what it's all about, right? Customer doesn't want a loan. At some level, they don't even want a car. What they really want is they want to have a great ownership experience. The car is the means to get there. The loan is how they fund it. We put those two things together, make a killer ownership experience, and it's a win-win situation.
You embedded this in my brain. There's a couple things you embedded in my brain. Is the service contract's the engine that pulls the train. I've heard you say it for 20 years. 30. And then enhancing the ownership experience to get the customer happily engaged in service. So what? They can come right back again.
Well, and that's what it's all about, right? Yeah, I mean, it's a relationship that someone has. Cars are intimate relationships. I mean, when people drive away in their brand new car, they're super excited. They're happy as hell, right? But all cars are going to create some kind of anxiety and stress. And what we do is we provide those products that take all that, make it go away. So if you ask someone what would be their perfect car, they'd almost always say, well, I just don't want any aggravations. I don't want any hassles. I don't want any surprises on my budget, right? And that's what our products do, Adam. Yeah. I mean, they sell the car, the manufacturer builds it, the dealer sells, but we, in F&I, we complete that ownership experience. We're the linchpin to their happiness.
I love that. I'm going to ask you a final question because, you came out of retirement. You've freaking built incredible companies, and you came out of retirement several years ago to jump into the whole credit union space. What my question is for you, Johnny, is like, what's your drive behind you? I mean, I've never met anybody that works as much as you. I remember working for you, and they're on Sundays. Like, what's that driving force to keep you freaking grinding?
Well, I just got a lot of friends and relatives that work for me, and I got to just keep working to keep everything alive, All my kids work for me. My, relatives work for me.
Yeah.
I'm 70 years old. I go into work every day, I still love it. And I love the innovation. I love putting some new things together. And I think, hopefully you'll see some really cool stuff coming out in the next couple months.
So I kind of lied to you. I said I had a final question. I have one more final question. So what is, like, jump ahead decade from now? Let's just go down the road. What does F&I look like in 10 years? Is there an F&I department? Is there an F&I manager? Is salespeople doing the whole transaction? Is it an AI? What does it look like in 10 years? If you had to, just take a wild guess at it.
So I think that we are going to, just in the next year or so, I think we're going to see this huge move where AI becomes not necessarily replacing F&I managers or salespeople, but becoming like the world's greatest assistant for both the F&I manager, maybe even the salesperson, and the consumer, right? So maybe you're my customer, I'm talking to you about how we're going to structure your ownership experience, but I'm going to have this tool that I can talk to and that you can talk to, and that we're going to have some conversation about how best to make this ownership experience killer, right?
I love that.
Like a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or something.
F&I black belts everywhere. So.
Right, exactly.
Well, Johnny, I can't thank you enough, brother. It's an honor and privilege for you just to spend some time with me. You've been there for me since day one. I just can't thank you for what you do for our industry. So thank you.
Adam,
I appreciate it.
I'm just happy that I was able to get a little bit of spark, but really, truthfully, I mean, your success has been a function of your super hard work, and I appreciate it.
I appreciate you. So thank you for tuning in to another episode of Training Camp exclusively on CBT News. Remember, if nothing changes, nothing changes. We must be willing to take action. We must be willing to invest in training, because training, it's not something that we did, it's something that we do, and we must do it on a continuous basis. Final sound off here. Fights aren't won in the ring, they're not won in the cage, they're won in training camp. Let's get to work.
Thanks for watching Training Camp with Adam Marburger, exclusively on CBT News.